Today's NCAA Women's Volleyball National Championship is brought to you by 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls. And by Spalding, official ball for the NCAA Volleyball Championships. We're back live at the Cox Arena, the home of the San Diego State Aztecs. Chris Marlowe and Heather Cox, Stanford and Long Beach State for the national championship in women's volleyball. Stanford's starting lineup: Ashley Ivy, a tremendous jump service opposite. Ogana Namani is outside, the freshman, along with the great Logan Tom. Sarah McGee, Tara Conrad, two very good middle blockers, and Robin Lewis is the underrated setter.
In his first year, John Dunning, head coach for Stanford, 2 NCAA titles at Pacific in '85 and '86. Ironically, that first one came his first year at UOP.
Long Beach State's lineup: Brittany Hochaver opposite. Wait till you see her serve. 6'7" Taiba Hanif outside with Ashante Taylor. Cheryl Weaver's in the middle. Tracy Bullcaron is the defensive specialist. She gets the start. And of course, the setter is Kerry Nishimoto.
In his 17th year, Brian Gimmillero has led the 49ers to 3 NCAA titles. This is his 8th national championship appearance.
Game 1 is a key. In 9 of the last 10 years, in 9 of the last 10 finals, the team that has won Game 1 has gone on to win the national championship. And straight down the hatch, number 15, Logan Tom, pounds her first kill.
A little bit more on Game 1. Just how important is it to Long Beach State? They're 33-0. They have won the first game in every single match they've played this year.
No other team in volleyball history has ever done that. And the spike off the block, out of bounds. So Brittany Hochaver, the top server for the 49ers and one of the great servers in the country. She has 80 aces this year. Set, ready to rip.
Both teams with the matchups they want. John Dunning wants Logan Tom on Cheryl Weaver. This is Long Beach's strongest rotation.
That's not an ace by Hochaver, but it results in a point. Weaver gets the kill. Long Beach ahead 2-1. Hochaver again. Great momentum on this serve. And tremendous heat. Lewis on the run. Hochaver, free ball, Nishimoto. She is roofed. Cheryl Weaver has Logan Tom on it. They're destined to be 2004 Olympians teammates, but not right now.
Logan Tom, the best slide blocker in the country. That's why John Dunning wanted her matched up in 3 rotations against Cheryl Weaver, getting exactly what he wants early.
Now Logan Tom may have either the first or second best jump serve in the country. She serves it. Weaver around the horn. Namani into the antenna. Ogana Namani, she's great. 6'1" freshman from Normal, Illinois. And Long Beach goes up 3-2. The #1 high school recruit in the country last year. Stanford getting the best recruiting class. Now Lindsay Phillips comes in the backcourt, a junior from Huntington Beach. She serves it. Here comes Logan Tom out of the middle, and she puts it away. So Long Beach wing blockers bailing out Heather, and Tom gets her second kill.
And that's an interesting matchup. I think Stanford probably the best team in the country out of system. When you've got players like Tom and Namani, you don't have to pass well or have the ball control to still get points. If you're Long Beach State, you have to be in system to get your points.
Sarah Sandrick going to check in for Stanford in the back line, and set to serve is Cheryl Weaver. Weaver, a 6'2" senior out of Washington, D.C. Pretty good pass by Tom. She passes a lot. And Ivy, who is kind of an erratic hitter. She's an outstanding when she's on. She's a 6-foot junior from Arlington. 225 kills, but she makes some errors.
Well, and I think Ashley Ivy was really the X factor, the reason that they beat Nebraska in 3 in the semi. She was absolutely huge.
Ogana Namani. She made a second-team All-America, and now Ashley Ivy will serve it. Down 29-25 to Nebraska. Ivy served 6 in a row to get that first game win in the semifinals. She's got a rocket. And she serves the ace. What makes Ivy serve so good in your mind, Heather?
Well, she keeps the ball in front of her. Watch how high the toss is. She keeps it in front of her. It's a lot like an attacking motion, so she gets the velocity. It's got a little bit of side spin as well, a lot like a knuckleball. 2 aces now for Ivy.
Ivy is spreading early here in game 1. 6-5 Stanford. Stanford with its second lead of the match. Stanford led at 1-0. Another great serve. Nishimoto goes and gets it. First spike for Taiba Hanif. And she rips it straight down.
And Chris, that's the problem. At 6'7", Hanif hits right over the block. So if you're Stanford defending it, you need to creep in. I also think you soft block. You break your wrists a little bit on the block. The defenders need to come into the middle of the court.
Nishimoto, pretty good serve. 6-6 game one. Free ball for the 49ers, and it goes down. A misplay by Long Beach State and a good placement by the Card. So Stanford, ranked 3rd in the nation coming in. And Namani will serve the floater. Pretty good pass there. Next play, here comes Hanif. And she rips it through. Now, Denise Corlett, the assistant coach for Stanford, told us they would try to wait a little bit on Hanif and jump a little bit later.
Well, especially if she's off the net. On this axe, they just need to have communication. I think they need to get 3 people up. But yes, Denise said block it like it's a down ball, almost like it's a back row attack. So you want to wait. You also want a soft block, which means you bend your hands backwards instead of pressing over the net.
Hanif with the spinner, could be a point. Taking a rip at it was Elisha Thomas, the other middle blocker for Long Beach State. And the 49ers on the attack. Thomas coming around the horn. Great dig in the backcourt by Ashley Ivy. Tip. Long Beach pops it up. Weaver keeps it in play. 7-7 game one. Around the horn and the put away. And that is Sarah McGee, sophomore from Davis, California, having a big year, her first kill.
Very physical, and if Stanford can have a presence out of the middle, that only helps them. They rely on their outside attack, but if McGee can open things up, it splits the block for Tom and Namani.
Emily Lawrence is in, a defensive specialist and a digging machine. Nishimoto sets left, Ashante Taylor, and she BBs it. Now Taylor is, well, she's the 5th option of the 5'10" senior from Phoenix, but she can get hot.
And she is certainly a target. Stanford will go after her in the service rotation. Just her first-year starter. They want to rattle her.
Little tip shot, and that's going down.
Somebody to keep your eyes on, number 31 red, Robin Lewis, the setter. That set was a little bit low. Lewis had to get down on her knees to go after it. She has been battling chronic arthritic knees all season long. She could barely walk yesterday, hardly took any reps in practice. She needs to be able to move or get great ball control from her team.
Nice dig by Lawrence. One of the keys for Stanford might be how much production do they get from the other outside hitters besides Logan Tom. Ashley Ivy dug by Nishimoto and slamming it down, Cheryl Weaver. Now Weaver is mad because she was considered for the National Player of the Year and Logan Tom beat her out. Well, certainly 2 of the finest players that have ever come around the pike. And now Hochaver will serve it. We'll follow at 9-9. And that's an ace. Boy, we set up the servers and they are serving it.
Yeah, both Hochaver and Ivy have come to play, and a lot of times in all the finals we've done, all the coaches say serving is the first thing to go in a match of this magnitude. Well, these 2 teams and programs, so rich in tradition, they're not nervous.
10-9 Beach. Logan Tom. Kerry Nishimoto is blocking Tom. I told this story in the semifinals, Heather, but maybe people missed it. When Karch Garai was on the USA national team, he had trouble with a smaller blocker. Well, it'll be interesting to see. Tom, no problem that time, but Nishimoto did block one back.
No, and if I'm Logan Tom, that's the exact matchup I want, especially when your setter is getting you one-on-one, holding Weaver in the middle, leaving you with only Nishimoto to go by.
Effective serve by Logan Tom. It's 10-10. Back set, here comes Ivy, and Ivy smokes one cross court. Ashley Ivy, a 4.2 grade point average, wants to be an orthopedic surgeon, and she'll position herself at the net. Now, Logan Tom will serve it. Game one, glad you're with us on ESPN2. Live volleyball for you, the national championship match, and Oguna Namani pounds it down.
This is exactly what Stanford wanted, a quick start, get Long Beach on its toes, get them into a chaotic system, a little bit out of system. You'll notice they have a very fast offense, but when they don't pass or block well, things can go downhill in a hurry.
Logan cranks another one, that's out of bounds. I tell you, that would hold true for both teams. The team that passes the ball the best today will most likely win, whether it be John Dunning or Brian Gimolero. You've got to pass the ball somewhere near the setter.
What that does is it gives you a 3-attack offense, makes it harder to block. The pass really ignites every other aspect of the game.
Lindsay Phillips, transfer from Pepperdine, serves it out of bounds. And Brian Gimolero's 49ers trailing by 2. Once again, 49ers have not lost a game 1 all year, let alone a 3 out of 5 game match. Now set to serve Tara Conrad from Torrance. And And she floats one long. Historically, serving has not been good in national championship matches, Heather, just because players are a little bit tense. Weaver with the serve. Nishimoto out of the back line, and Weaver missed it.
And once again, out of system. That is a ball control error by Long Beach. They didn't get the offense that they wanted. Stanford off to a great start, hitting .438 as a team.
And Ivy serves it out. So both teams serving some balls out of bounds. Stanford with their fourth service there. Long Beach has one. John Dunning, a graduate of San Diego State University, and now Kerry Nishimoto will serve it. What improvement she has made this year. Set left, Namani over the top, and Namani knuckled it. That's normally a dig for Weaver, but Namani, who can touch 10-8, she's got a 30-inch vertical, gives Stanford a big point. Midway through game one of the national championship match, Stanford leading Long Beach by 2.
Fish in a barrel. Next.
Back at the Cox Arena here in San Diego, California, Chris Marlowe and Heather Cox. Stanford with a 2-point lead over Long Beach State. Series history, Stanford with a big lead, Heather, kind of surprising.
In fact, I talked to Don Shaw at the hotel yesterday, the former coach of the Stanford Cardinal, and he said, you know, Pacific and Long Beach, yes, they had the rivalry, so Dunning and Chibbolero had it, but you know, we never had a very intense rivalry with Long Beach because, quite frankly, we always beat them. They've been very successful against the 49ers in the NCAA tournament, and they rarely meet in regular season play.
Don Shaw, the most successful coach percentage-wise in NCAA volleyball history with 4 titles. He's now coaching the Stanford men as John Dunning has taken over, so a little change of scenery for Big Daddy Don Shaw. There he is. Has to have some mixed feelings about watching today, and right next to him, Russ Rose. So some analysis going on over there in the front row.
At Penn State, Russ Rose coached Penn State. They've certainly had some historic battles against both Stanford and Long Beach for championships.
Stanford started celebrating a little bit early, 16-13, and that cost him. Oguna Namani ran back thinking that that play was down, and Long Beach scrambled and got the ball up. So that could be a key play here. We'll see.
You know, Chris, it's interesting. You look at the series history, but these two teams met earlier in the year. They met in September. Long Beach State won 3 games to 1, but both of these teams drastically different since they played.
Big hit by Sarah McGee, and of course, as we pointed out in other matches, Long Beach State getting a jump start by playing some matches in Europe and going 7-1.
After the miscommunication, I like the idea by Lewis going right back to McGee, establish the middle, and so far, Stanford showing good balance and distribution offensively.
Emily Lawrence in the serve. Good pass by Weaver. Back set for Shaver. Shaver got blocked. Conrad was there, and Logan Tom was there.
Watch the way they move in unison. Lateral movement. Conrad gets to the gap and closes it. Drops that left hand. Doesn't get her hit there, but gets her hand there.
Stanford outblocked the #1 blocking team in the nation, Nebraska, the other night. Logan Tom over the top. Great dig in the backcourt by Cheryl Weaver. Quick set, slam dunk by Tara Conrad. So Stanford taking it to Long Beach right now, up by 5, 19-14.
You know, Nishimoto giving the officials a little bit of a stink eye, not liking the tips that she's seen out of the middle. Thought that Conrad may have carried that ball. So far, the middles have gotten 4 kills off of tips to those wing players.
Lawrence continues to serve. And they're serving Weaver. Nice up by Nishimoto, and double contact called by our first referee today. Our first referee is Mary Holly Blaylock. Second referee, Tana Martin. There's Mary. I think that was a pretty good call. That was a, as my friend Mark Jacobs used to say, that was a mismangled ball. 20-14. Hanif, and Long Beach playing very tentative. Stanford rolling. Logan Tom popped up. That's legal. Right side, Hochaber takes a whack and puts it down.
You know, Long Beach needs to get Taiba Hanif the ball a little bit more. They're getting it to her sporadically. I don't think she's in a rhythm yet. She's hitting a lot of off-speed shots.
There is Hanif in the back row at the moment. She's a pretty good back row player. That could have been called a lift. It was not. Hanif will set. Sets a beauty to left side. Taking a whack of it was Phillips. So Phillips in the left front now. and she hits it off the head of Lewis. Stanford goes and gets it, but it's out of bounds. So Lindsay Phillips is going to play in the front line, which is kind of a surprise, but she is in there for Ashante Taylor.
Yeah, Phillips is a transfer from Pepperdine, blew out her ACL in her knee September of last year, has been rehabbing it. Only back row, just sporadic appearances in the front row throughout the season.
Logan Tom smacks one through. She's from Salt Lake City, Utah, 6'1" junior, and she can play. 21-16 now. Lewis gets the serving signal. She will serve. Good pass. Nishimoto sets left. And Phillips rolls one in on the line.
Stanford will take gambles blocking. They'll commit in the middle against Weaver. That leaves the one-on-one on the outside. Good recognition by Nishimoto going one-on-one to Phillips.
Long Beach State's best rotation with Hochaver serving, and she smokes a heater. Wow. Not only can she hit it hard, Heather, she can hit it wherever she wants.
Watch the way she turns her right wrist, going deep into area one. That right back corner is wide open on a three-person serve receive.
Hochaver again, coming over the net and tapping it straight down. Who's a better server, Logan Tom or Brittany Hochaver?
I think I'd rather receive Logan's serves, meaning Brittany Hochaver has got the heat, and you see it early on. It dives, it drops in a hurry, very hard to get underneath it with all that velocity on it.
So the Long Beach State 49ers, who have not lost game one all year, fight back and trail 21-19 after 3 quick points. A reminder, tomorrow on ESPN2 at 4:30 Eastern, women's college basketball. The Big Ten against the Big 12. Illinois tries to take down number 3 Oklahoma. Sooners 9-0. They're led by their All-American candidate, Stacey Dales. And if you haven't seen Stacey Dales play, you're in for a treat tomorrow at 4:30.
Dales is amazing. Dales, one of the best three-point shooters we've seen. Great off the dribble.
That's basketball tomorrow. But right now, there's jump serving going on here in the Cox Arena. Brittany Hochaver, wow, wicked jump serve.
She stays behind it, keeps the ball in front of her, and you see it's a lot like that spiking motion, but the right wrist turns in at the very last minute, and they're picking on Logan Tom right now, trying to go deep into the corner, take her out of any back row attack.
I'll tell you an interesting story. I asked Ari Salinger, the head coach for the 1984 Olympic team, if he liked the jump serve. He said it will never be big in women's volleyball because women don't jump high enough and they're not dynamic enough to utilize that play. That was back in the mid-'80s. Now it has become a staple. You have to have some jump serve.
I totally disagree. In high school and the club level, you see the jump serve. It just creates an entirely different trajectory on the ball. It's coming down at you rather than straight at you.
A minute ago, it was 21-19. It was 21-16. Stanford. Cardinal looking pretty. Brittany Hochaver got to the service line, and she's been there ever since. Now 21-19. Can she get it in after a timeout? Let's up a little bit. Shank pass. Stanford's not very good on these plays either, except when they do set Logan Tom. Now Logan, 1998 High School Player of the Year, 2000 Olympic team, the first Stanford volleyball player to play in the Olympics and then come back and play some more college volleyball. So she's played against the Russians, the Cubans, and just about everybody in the world. Who can forget that memorable comeback she led? The United States coming back to defeat Korea and get into the medal round. A little different perspective on volleyball. 22-20. Chris Marlowe, Heather Cox at the Cox Arena. And Long Beach with Carrie Nishimoto. Did Nishimoto get some of that? She got it. Weaver was there too.
Watch the low point of attack. Ogana Namani needs to hit a little bit higher. She waits for the ball to drop right into Nishimoto's hands. She needs to hit it at its highest point.
Namani may go right over the top here. No, they set the quick, and Weaver is there.
And this is a tough rotation for Stanford to get out of. They've got Weaver in the middle, 6'7", Hanif on the outside. Lewis just struggling with where to go. I think you need to continue to go outside, try and hit over the top of Nishimoto.
Long Beach has scored 6 out of the last 7. The 49ers putting on pressure now. Into the middle, and another stop. Wow, they've got Namani on Nishimoto. You got a setter out there, and the Beach regains the lead, 23-22. Timeout, Stanford. John Dunning calls his second timeout. And Long Beach State, utilizing their All-America Cheryl Weaver, is up by 1.
U.S. Olympic.
Long Beach State trailing a couple of minutes ago, 21-16. Now they're up 23-22. Brian Gimmolero talked about his team.
What it would mean is that these young kids did something that's impossible. You know, you just don't go undefeated. But in sport, we learned historically that nothing is impossible.
The only undefeated team in 1998, his. Then Nebraska able to go undefeated last year at 34-0. Here comes Logan Tom, and Tom buries it. Does Stanford need to start setting Tom more in the back line?
Well, I think so, especially with the matchup that they have right now. I don't think this is the matchup they want. Ogana does not hit line, so you really neutralize having Nishimoto blocking line out there because Ogana hitting into the hands of Weaver. So I think you need to use Tom out of the back row.
Conrad got it in. Nishimoto. Volkaren pops it up. Hochevar feeds it over. Namani is available. They set her, and she crushes it right by Nishimoto.
Now, if you can get Ogana one-on-one, you're in good shape. But once you get Weaver's hands in the picture, you see how Ogana likes to drop her shoulder and hit cross-court. She hasn't shown us yet that she can hit down the line.
So if you're Nishimoto, you're going to be moving in very, very soon. Set left, here comes Hanif. And a beautiful dig in the back part by Conrad. Weaver is there, tries to slam it. Ivy. Hochevar, set right, nobody up. Oh, and Weaver tipped it into the antenna.
Boy, that's huge, because that's the advantage of having Hochevar as your right side player. She is trained as a setter. In fact, she was the starting setter a year ago. You saw Weaver call to see she can audible because of Hochevar's hands, but goes right into the antenna.
3 in a row after the timeout. Now the missed serve.
And Chris, that's crucial. We saw it when Arizona played Long Beach. They had 5 missed serves in the first game. Now 6 service errors for the Stanford Cardinal in game 1.
25-24. Stanford. Lewis sets left. And Namani over the top of Nishimoto.
Give Lewis a ton of credit. She's taking a quick peek at the opponent, checking out the block, and getting Namani one-on-one. Weaver committing on the middle on Sarah McGee.
Tom and Namani carrying the load. Here comes Ashley Ivy. Stanford up by 2. Nishimoto sets left. Hanif down the hatch. We're in San Diego, California. We're expecting the largest crowd to ever see a women's sporting event in the city of San Diego. We'll add up the numbers later. I'm Chris Marlowe along with former Pacific star Heather Cox. Game 1, live volleyball on ESPN2, Stanford and Long Beach. Been a seesaw game 1. And Heather, you suggested, and rightly so, that the 49ers need to get the ball to Taiba, and they're doing that now.
Hanif has become a factor. 4 kills now, hitting 57%, so I think you've got to give them swings. But when she hits the roll shots, Stanford has got to dig those.
Hanif with the block. She was a basketball player in high school and a track star, and she can get up. 27-26. Lewis in trouble, over to Namani. She tips it right over the antenna into the middle. Thomas, Hochevar gave her the set. Namani, tip. Nishimoto's there. Hochevar slam dink. And Long Beach up by 2, 28-26.
Lewis has got to look for Tom in the back row or go to the middle off of a good pass, relying way too much on the freshman.
Stanford made an amazing comeback against Nebraska. Tom with the tip, and Long Beach punches it out of bounds. I think that's a pretty good play, though. Hanif had seen a couple drop behind her, so if you got a chance, just poke that thing up.
And now Logan Tom moving into the front row. Namani now serving. This is exactly where Stanford wants to be.
And Logan Tom is in the front line. Oh, it's out of bounds. So Stanford, a crucial serving error by Namani. And Long Beach is going to have 2 game points. Serving is Hanif, the spinner coming. Will they set Logan Tom? They do. It's low. Popped up. Chance for the win here. No! Tom is there. Logan Tom.
And we know that Stanford can come back. We talked about the fact they were down 25-29 in game 1 to Nebraska. Ashley Ivy served 6 consecutive points.
Rally scoring. Games are to 30. You have to win by 2, so this is the big one for Stanford. Second game point for the Beach. They put the ball down. This game is over. Set left. Phillips off speed. Coming back over. Trying to jam it was Thomas. No. A swing for the win. No. Weaver pops it over. Set left. Logan Tom. See you later. And Long Beach lets 2 game points go by. Hard to put Stanford away. 29 all. Once again, win by 2 now. Passes off the net. Phillips on the left. And she hits it out. Stanford, 3 in a row. Timeout, Long Beach.
What an amazing turn of events. We saw it on Thursday night. Stanford against Nebraska. John Dunning has this team playing so relaxed. You know, I've talked to him throughout the week, and he said, I'm just going to stay out of the way of this team. Just let them stay relaxed. I don't want to stress them out.
A reminder, the Amos Alonso Stag Division III National Championship game is coming your way tonight at 8 Eastern. Bridgewater taking on Mount Union, the Eagles and the Raiders. The Raiders are the defending champs. They've won 5 titles. The Eagles beat Rowan on the last play of the game to reach the championship. That's live from Salem. They've got a sellout there, 8 p.m. ESPN2.
Chris, Logan Tom has taken over late in the match. It starts with the wipe off of the block. Just the court awareness that you see, and then being able to go up and know that Hochevar was going to attack the ball. And then her 9th kill of the match, already 9 kills, hitting 57% here in game 1. And Stanford in the rotation it wants to be in for game point.
11 ties, 8 lead changes. Long Beach State had 2 game points. Stanford averted both those and has scored 3 in a row. And Logan Tom poised to put away the game winner. Cheryl Weaver, Taiba Hanif in the back line.
Not only has Long Beach not lost a game 1 throughout this season, they have only lost 6 games all season, most recently against 20th ranked BYU in the end of November. This is unfamiliar territory for the 49ers.
Look for number 6, Hochevar, to get it. I think she's in the right front. Stanford for the win in game 1. Nishimoto off ahead, it's still going. Stanford puts this ball down. It's going to Logan Tom, isn't it? Logan Tom, and she puts it away. Stanford has beaten Long Beach State in game 1. The 49ers losing their first game 1 all season. And Logan Tom, the hitting star. So the Stanford Cardinal, what a comeback once again. Logan Tom heats it up for the game winner. And the Cardinal leads it 1-0. More volleyball coming up right after this.